So, here it is, the biggest update Kawasaki have made to their KX450 since it came out in 2006. It's all new from the ground up, and there really is no two ways about it.
It doesn't look that great. That exhaust, I say exhaust, it's really more of a chimney, isn't it? And the way that mudguard kind of curves down, it gives the bike a bit of an old-fashioned look. Weirdly though, I kind of like that. It tells me that this is a high-performance machine. Looks were low on the list of priorities during its development. A bit like Susan Boyle, for example. Except it's still a damn sight better looking than Susan Boyle.
Alright then, it's a performance-oriented machine. We've established that. So how well does it perform?
Let's find out. Very well is the answer to that question. The entire engine's been reworked by the maniacs at Kawasaki's World Superbike team. The same people that brought us the 400 km/h Ninja H2R, the fastest production bike ever made. And they've toiled with everything, from the engine casings to the throttle body, the piston, the cams, the exhaust. They've even moved the entire shock absorber over to one side to improve the angle of the air and fuel intake by just 10 degrees. And they've incorporated some of their superbike wizardry too, in the form of a finger follower valve train. Absolutely no idea what it does or how it works, but it's in there and it sounds very impressive.
It's not a widowmaker though. All of that extra power is delivered in this incredibly smooth power curve, because the maniac engineers understand that horsepower is practically redundant, unless you can put it to the ground, which is also where the new suspension comes into play.
Kawasaki have taken a leaf out of Yamaha's book here, bucking the trend of lightweight but crap air forks and going back to a traditional spring fork. A lot heavier, but at least they work. In fact, these ones in particular really work. Inside they're essentially Showa A-kit forks, which might not sound very impressive until you consider that to buy a set of Showa A-kit forks on their own would set you back 10 grand. How the hell have they done that? And there's more good news too. Gone are the days of hammer and punch sag adjustment. On this it's just an Allen key. And it's got a hydraulic clutch too, look at that. First Japanese bike to have one of those, though it's not actually that impressive because KTM have had them already for about 5 million years. And another thing KTM have had already for about 5 million years, an electric start, but crucially, a lithium-ion battery-powered electric start that makes use of something called an automatic centrifugal decompression system. No idea, but the effect is monumental. Have a look at this. I've never encountered a high compression four-stroke that starts like that. It's just incredible.
It's light too, 110 kgs to be precise, making it the lightest of all the Japanese bikes. Still 5 kgs heavier than the equivalent KTM, but we'll gloss over that for now.
They've made massive leaps and bounds in the chassis department too. It's one of the most natural feeling bikes I've ever ridden. It doesn't feel as though I'm riding a bike so much as it does I've thrown one out of my arms and legs. The communication I'm getting through the handlebars and from the foot pegs, the sense of exactly where the wheels are and how much grip they've got at any given moment. It's almost telepathic. And the brakes, my god, it's got the biggest rear rotor ever fitted to a production bike. And the feel you've got with all that stopping power is just immense.
Unfortunately, however, we've reached the part of the film where I tell you that it's not perfect. But it's not that not perfect. Let me explain.
Just little niggly things. Accessing the airbox, for example, a 3-second tools-free job on a KTM, whereas on this it'll take you 30 seconds just to find an 8mm and a 10mm to undo the 2 different sizes of bolt holding the airbox together. Why? It just seems so obvious to me to have a tools-free airbox. Accessing it is something you do between every ride. And that's not all. Want to fit your favourite set of aftermarket handlebars? Well, you can't because it's got skinny handlebar clamps. And to change the engine map, you have to physically change these little color-coded things where it's just a button on the handlebars on most other manufacturers. And to customize a map, forget about it. You need this big bulbous green thing and a whole bunch of cables and a PhD and unnecessarily complicated shit. Yamaha just have an app. Why can't they just have an app? How hard can it be to make an engine map app?
I'll admit, I'm nitpicking. Ultimately, these are problems that you could live with, and they certainly don't revoke the fact that Kawasaki have ended a streak of mediocre motorcycles with what is invariably a great package.
So what, it looks a bit old-fashioned and the exhaust resembles a chimney more than it does an exhaust. When it goes, stops and handles like this, who cares?
To me, this bike represents the rope-a-dope. After being beaten against the ropes for 7 rounds, Kawasaki have come off them in the 8th to knock the competition flat on their backs against all the odds in a big way.